what do you understand by equivalence partitioning? Can you provide me one of the example?
Equivalent partition is like something like is a boundary. So think about like calendar. If you want to put, if you want to develop a calendar, the December. So we have the end December is 31, and we have starting with 1st December. So partition, equivalent partitioning is a boundary. Like if you select, like system will next not accept -1, or system will not accept 32, because there is no 32 December here. So same thing is like a think about like that there is a transaction. If there is an e-commerce website, there is a limitation, like you can buy five more than five items at a time, or you can add to cart more than five. So if you want to add a cart 6, the system will not allow this. So those things I believe is equivalent partitioning. So developer can write the test like their system will not allow the after boundary or below boundary. That's my understanding of equivalent partitioning. I'm not sure if it's right or wrong.
So I think you got confused with boundary value analysis and equivalence partitioning. Both go hand in hand, but what you have explained, it's more of a boundary value. So you have explained about the boundary value. When we say equivalence partition, so say for example, you have a website, an e-commerce website, and there are different discount percentage for the purchases. Say for example, up to $100, there is 5% discount. Up to from 101 to $200, there is 10% discount. From 201 to $500, there is 15% discount. So when we segregate these logical partitions, right, and we pick the test cases, or we pick the data within those partitions to verify that when I pick or when I do a purchase of $100, only 5% discount is given to me. Okay. When I do a purchase of $50, I get 5% discount. When I do purchase of $150, I get 10% discount. Right. So these are equivalence partitions. So percentage wise, I have divided into different partitions. Right. And then the second part is boundary value analysis, which you have mentioned already.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So both go hand in hand. It's not separate. Both of these techniques, test design techniques, go hand in hand. All right. Cool. Can you explain the difference between SOAP and REST as well?
Yeah, I believe I covered partially. SOAP and REST is most of the REST run with all data like HTML, JSON, every format, and SOAP run with only HTML. So and REST, most of the REST has.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Most of the REST tools are very expensive, I believe, and API tools are least expensive. REST tools are least expensive, and I think this it's like a kind of like a Java, like open source API. Most of the time you can say open source. REST is the open source, and best big difference between I got that it can run with every data format. That's the big difference in my sense. And there is a lots of I mentioned before, more than 70% people use REST API.
Yeah. Okay. So you are partially correct there. Some points are correct, but then some points are not correct in the difference. So I would like to clarify that it's HTTP. So both communicate over HTTP and not HTML. So HTML is the web page design, right? So HTML language.
Sorry.
HTTP. So SOAP and REST both are, so SOAP is a protocol and REST is an architectural style. It's not a protocol. Okay. Then you can also mention about what SOAP stands for. So SOAP stands for Simple Object Access Protocol, and REST stands for Representational State Transfer. So couple of 3-4 points you can just Google around, and mention those points. And then the other important or other very important thing about SOAP and REST is that REST is lightweight as compared to SOAP. Okay, so that's another important point that you can mention.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
but if you Google around, you will find lots and lots of differences that you can explain. For a software tester, you need to understand the basic differences so that you can, when you are accessing a SOAP web service, you know what you need to do or in order to test that. And when you are accessing the REST web service, then you need to know what you can do with that, right? So that's the only difference. So REST will be very similar to like accessing a website, right? So you have www.google.com and then forward slash, if you say travel, so it will open the travel page. So REST will be something very similar to accessing the website. The only difference is in the website, you have the web interface that an end user or we as a user can have a look. But when we talk about these services, it is the communication a medium for the two servers, two applications. Okay. So that's a bit of clarification there. All right. Okay. Can you explain a little bit about what is API testing?
API testing is application programming interface. So it's like a API is the logic written by developer with connect to the another software or another application. Like think about Priceline. Here is the Priceline or
Yeah.
Expedia.
Yeah.
When you search the Expedia any flight from New York to Sydney, so they pull up the lots of airlines
Yeah.
like American Airlines, Canadian Airlines, something like this. So that's the way they connect with API because developer wrote some logic so they can connect with the another those things are API. So most of the time I use the a very common tool here is Postman. It's a REST API.
Yeah.
So we use the Postman. We can I can write the push, delete, and something like this. These are the four options. So most common. So I use the Postman tools and I work, but the rest of my colleague they use the different lots of tools. But I love the Postman. It's easy and believe it's less stressful. And nowadays in US API testing is the hot cake. Everyone use the API. Even people, lots of companies, they are hiring also only API tester. So that's why my interest and I do some voluntary. I'll go there, go to Postman and work, and I believe I can do something. And hopefully, I have a like ambition. I'll go to the whole API. But more than 70% API is the REST API because REST API there is the advantage. It can go every data like HTML, JSON, everything. But I believe REST only go to HTML. So that's why people love most of them the REST API. So soup is maybe less than 20% or something like this. So
Yeah.
because only web application, that's all.
Yeah. So that will be that's my next question. So you explained about the API testing in very good way. Uh, and I was about to give you the same example of the airlines like Expedia you mentioned. That's very good example. Like when you have 15 different airlines and Expedia is an aggregator, right? Where they will show you the price of all 15, whatever number of websites they have. So whatever number of airlines there are.
Yeah.
So when Expedia is showing you all those results, they are basically calling the APIs exposed by those airlines. So, and those APIs could be, written in, or it could be, like SOAP or REST. So it depends. And when you have those APIs, then application or the aggregator, which in your case you explained about the Expedia, they can simply provide or put in the data and send that data in form of XML or JSON format and get the response from those specific airlines and show you the price of specific airlines. So very, very good example. And I always mention in my, interviews that always come up with the example, which you are doing very well. So well done on that.